It's that time again where we go through every month and the games that I played through that month. And of course, this is May now, and we're not going to beat around the bush here. Let's get right into it with our 6 games, which are Rayman Legends, Metro 2033 Redux, Agatha Knife, Walking Dead: A New Frontier, 428 Shibuya Scramble, and Fallout 4. So the first game we'll be talking about will be Rayman Legends. This is a game that I've loved. Obviously, this has been out for quite a while. Played it when I was a kid, and I was just wanting some nostalgia, honestly. And I decided to boot it up again. And honestly, it is as good. It is good as I remember. You know, it's exceptional platforming, and it's just overall great. I don't know what to say because it's kind of hard to talk about this without repeating other stuff that people have said. But I really went out of my way to go and try and beat everything. Like, I tried to get all the origin paintings, tried to get all the creatures, try to complete every level, basically. Not all the TNTs, though. I'm not going to go that far. But yeah, aside from that, it's good as fun as always. If you haven't played it, what are you doing? Like, it's been out for a while. Of course, I love the Rayman franchise. I really wish we get a new Rayman game, and I'm secretly hoping for Rayman in Smash, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I did really enjoy this game. I loved it as a kid, and I love it now. Now let's move on to the next game. Next up, we have Metro 2033 Redux, or Redo, or whatever you want to pronounce it as. This is an interesting case where I like everything about this game, except for the game itself. I guess that's kind of self-contradictory and complicated, but allow me to explain. It's where we have like this unique premise. It's a post-apocalyptic Russia, everybody's living underground in search of shelter from mutants. The air below is safe, while the air above is poisonous, so it's very interesting, you know? But I think what really lacked it for me was the combat, where I did enjoy how it went, but I just didn't like how the game was actually played. I'm stumbling for my words here, but anyway, I mean, I played it through the remastered version. Obviously, the trailer showed here is for the original, so I don't know how greatly that differs, but I want to know. I got up to chapter 4, I think it is, where you board underneath like the tram and you're in enemy lines. I think that's what happened. But as I said before, I liked the game, you know, but I don't really have any intentions of playing it. I love this story. It's a very unique premise, and I just don't really like how this game is played. I've said that already, and I'm probably just beating a dead horse here. But anyway, let's get on to our third game, shall we? The next game that we'll be talking about is Agatha Knife. Now, this is related to a previous game that I played last month, which was Mechanica. So if you like that, you will like Agatha Knife. But like Mechanica, it's a very weird game, but a very great game. As always, it's it's humorful, if that's even the right word. It's charming, and it certainly is dark. Don't get me wrong; it has its moments. But, you know, it has its own sadistic little charm to it, you know. Like Mechanica, you know, it's kind of hard to make some points about this without just, you know, making comparisons to Mechanica. But aside from that, I do like our main character. I do like Agatha. I think she has an interesting story to her, you know, and I do think the progression of creating her own religion, of all things, was pretty unique, you know. And I found this story pretty interesting. I don't know what I like more, Mechanica or Agatha Knife. I'm kind of hard pressed, but to be honest, on most days I think I would say I prefer Agatha Knife as a game rather than Mechanica. But on terms of everything else, I just don't know really. It's kind of a tug and war between them, if you catch my drift. Anyway, let's get on to the next game that we'll be reviewing. Next up, we have The Walking Dead: A New Frontier. Now, this is the standard affair with all Telltale Walking Dead games. You know, it's a zombie apocalypse, and they have to survive and whatnot, make difficult choices. And The New Frontier does do it effectively, but I don't think it lives up to the standard of the previous game, Season 1 and Season 2. There's also that Bichon game, but I haven't played that yet. But anyway, I did like it. You know, the graphics were obviously improved, as you can see through here. And I did feel that the overall cast of characters was pretty decent. There were some which I didn't like and some that I really loved, which is obviously, you know, a trademark for every Walking Dead game. But aside from that, I do think that this certainly is not the best Walking Dead game. It certainly isn't the best Telltale game by a long shot. And I think it's because mainly of the choices, you know. There's a few where your choices don't really matter in the end. And I think Telltale knew it. And I think that they also just thought, it was not really any threat. Let's just add zombies to the mix, you know, let's add some walkers, that'll ease some tension. When reality is just, you know, it doesn't really add up, you know, it doesn't get that sense of fear and danger as you get from the previous games. But aside from that, I thought it was decent, you know, it's a decent enough affair, and I don't know if Season 4 will be as good or not. I haven't played it yet, but I am planning to in the future. So, let's get on to the next game. The next game that we'll be talking about is 428 Shibuya Scramble. This is a unique one, and I know I say that for a lot of games, but there's another way to describe it. This is certainly unique. We have 5 characters, at least at the start, who have all different stories. Some are focused on comedy, some are focused on characters, some are related in mystery, and all their fates intertwine together, you know? And it leads to a lot of interesting developments as the game's story goes on, and you're wondering how exactly will this happen? What exactly is going to happen at the end? And you know, where all the characters bump into each other, and it leads to a lot of intriguing questions. And also there's the use of multiple choices, so you got a whole different timeline where your choices do indeed matter. Even the little choices do indeed matter at the end, because there's like 88 endings in this. And in case you didn't tell, this is a very long game. Like, this took me about, 30 hours to complete? And I think that's the longest I've ever spent on a game, actually. At least trying to complete it. But aside from that, I do think it's a very unique tale. Obviously, it's kind of reminiscent of some games like Zero Escape and others which have like a project storyline. But if you're looking for a short experience, this is not the game for you. If you're looking for something that's very long and very time consuming, but you want to have some fun to it, then yeah, go check out 428 Shibuya Scramble. And now let's get on to the final game. And the final game we'll be talking about is Fallout 4. Now, in terms of my opinion, this is kind of similar to another game that we was discussing earlier, Metro 2033 Redux, where I love the story behind it, I love the world, I just don't like the actual game. Like, I know this is kind of a hot take since Fallout 4 is considered by many to be an incredible game, and the Fallout series is considered to be incredible, but I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't like many open world games per se, where it's just like, as I said before, I love the story, I love the characters. I do indeed love the history behind the vaults, especially, because I believe that's open to a lot of like experimentational stuff on how far the human mind will go and how far it can test its limits. But aside from that, just surviving an apocalyptic world and doing all the stuff on the stats, I just wasn't a big fan of it. Like, I got up to Vault 114 and I found Nick Valentine, but the problem is he glitched out, and so I couldn't find him anywhere, so I couldn't complete that quest, so I was kind of at a loss, you know. But aside from that, I don't think I would pick out Fallout 4 again, but that's probably just because I don't really want the experience, because I may visit the Fallout series again, just not playing it, just like going into the lore and stuff. And with that, that is all the games that I played in May. Tune in next week where I will go, not next week, next month, where I will go into the games that I played in June, and hopefully it won't take as long.